Hey, welcome back to another episode of The Art of Making Things Happen, the podcast with a friend of mine, Jen Gottlieb. Now, a lot of you may know her as the hot girl from VH1's Metal Show. You may not know that she was a Broadway actress, but you definitely may not know that she is an introvert and she specializes in media. In fact, she is media. She got the MBA on media from learning it the hard way. Listen to how she reveals her authentic self, how you can do it, how you can get media, why you need media, and why you need to wise up and start doing video. Listen to the show. Hey, Jen, welcome to the show.
Hi, Steve. I'm so excited to be here.
What's it been like? It seems like 10 minutes ago we were hanging out in just outside of San Diego at War Room. So we keep bumping into each other.
We do.
let's be blunt. You are media. You know, your life started in media. A lot of people got to watch you grow, you know, when you were with VH1 and doing all that stuff. So a little bit of background on you. How did you start in just getting so much visibility? What was the upgrowing into what you ended up being in? And then we can touch on where you are now.
Yeah. So I had a lot of visibility when I was an actress, but it was a totally different type of visibility. This is really important for people to know. Back when I was on VH1, I was being seen as a version of myself that couldn't have been further from who I really am. I was basically like it was a weird thing because I was playing a character. I was hired to play a role, but the role was me because it was a talk show. So my name was Jennifer, but I was playing this role of this like super blonde, heavy metal rock and roll girl, like super sexed up, kind of angry, like a character. And I played the character really well, but it wasn't me. So while I was being very visible and I was the metal girl from that metal show and I was all over the place, it wasn't Jen, the girl that you know. It wasn't the girl you're talking to now. So I was actually hiding. I wasn't being visible. I was hiding behind this persona and this mask of this person that I thought I needed to be in order to be successful in the industry, which I believe a lot of actresses do because that's the job of being an actress.
Sure.
But you know when after years of doing that and really kind of being in this internal battle with my true self for a very long time, it all came crashing down and my life came to a massive halt where I lost everything in a matter of a week. And I realized very quickly that if I wanted to live a life that I loved and use my gifts in the way that I knew that I needed to use them, not in the way it just felt very out of alignment in the other way, I needed to show up as who I truly was and allow myself to be visible and to be seen as the Jen you're talking to right now, as me. And that's not necessarily that easy to go from metal girl extreme VH1 and transition your brand into what I wanted to transition into, which was health and mindset and personal growth and this complete opposite, which was who I really was. And it was really scary, Steve. Like there was a lot of fear that came with that, imposter syndrome, a lot of like letting people know who I truly was, or are they going to accept me? And then also strategy. How do I do that? How do I change the narrative in the media, in the public eye, to show that this is no longer me and this is me? And I know a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with this in their own way. So I think it's important to talk about when you're transitioning your brand or you're coming out as your true self, or maybe creating a new business or a new brand or something new. I really leveraged the media and my knowledge around the media to be able to change that narrative. It took quite a while, but I finally was able to then start building up visibility as my true self, which was ironically a lot more difficult than the other way, which was a lot easier because I could hide, you know? So yeah, I just started, and this year specifically and last year was really my year of really going for it with content and being seen and like being in the media and practicing what I preach and what I teach to people and really doing it myself. And it's kind of, that's what you're looking at right now, which was, you know, still being built. I'm not there yet.
The Jen. So you didn't, and I'm assuming here because of our conversations, but I don't want to be inaccurate here. You didn't train or go to college or university for media, did you?
No.
So you've learned it all the real way, the ups, the downs, the goods, the bads. You've actually had the street MBA of what media actually does, what it does to you. And I do like, and I've seen you speak on stage. You're tremendous. Anyone out there looking for someone dynamite on stage, get Jen. But I do love the fact that you actually talk about the fact that you put a lot of effort in putting out who you weren't. And then you had to change it. You had to claim it back. Everyone knew you famously as this girl. I knew about that girl before I got the chance to talk to you. And I remember talking to you going, different person. How bad was it? Or was it bad? Did you get any people say, hey, why have you changed? You know, did they think you were kind of the metal Jen was the real one? And now you were kind of like, you know, changing for the wrong. Did you get any of that kind of backlash?
No, I'm actually that metal show fans are the greatest humans in the entire world. That community, like heavy metal rock and roll people, they're amazing. And they were actually very supportive of me and still are. They still all follow me on my site now. In fact, a lot of my That Metal Show fans who didn't know anything about personal development or mindset or entrepreneurship now still follow me. And they're like, I love learning from you now. And I've changed so much. So actually, I've been very blessed. And I truly believe that when you are your authentic self and there's really nothing to hide and you are completely in alignment with your mission and you are in flow and what I like to call in the pocket. When you're in your pocket, like Steve, I see you, you're in your pocket. You might not be everybody's technical cup of tea, right? Like the harder thing, but because you're so you, it's so endearing and you can't not love it because it's just authentic, it's real and it's you. And when it's like that, everybody gets on board because there's no inauthenticity. There's no fakeness. There's no like, I think the other way people would say when I was on That Metal Show, a lot of those people would say, she's not a real metal fan. She's fake. She doesn't really like heavy metal. She doesn't really know what she's talking about, which was true. People could sense it. But now that I'm in my zone and I'm in my flow and I'm doing my thing of what I'm supposed to be doing, they're all like, we love you, Jen. Let's go. They're rooting for me.
Now, I know you and Chris do a lot of education on media. But let's be blunt. Today, we're in a very visible world. You're a very beautiful woman, so it's very easy for you to be on TV. Me, I'm ugly. I don't care. So we're at the other end of the spectrum. But there's a lot of people that are actually terrified, literally terrified, will come out in sweats about the idea of going on video, going on a TikTok, actually doing any kind of speaking, standing up. They are petrified. So what would you say to those people to actually say, hey, how do you get out there? This is the steps.
So our company is actually a PR media company, but we're secretly a personal development company because all of the people that we teach, I would say 99% of the people that we teach to get in the media or even our high-end clients have this fear of being seen. Even the most famous rock stars that I used to interview on television were still nervous and had imposter syndrome. And I'm telling you, don't underestimate everybody's insecurities. I also get nervous when I go on camera. It doesn't matter what you look like. It's very scary and a vulnerable thing to be on camera. The more you practice it, the better you get. But here's my tips. Okay. This is the number one thing. If you can shift your mindset into this, it will change everything. So if you are watching this or listening to this podcast, you most likely are an expert in something, right? Whatever it is that you do, your business, are you a speaker, you're building something, you are an expert in that thing. If you were just talking about your expertise to a friend over coffee, would you be nervous? If you were just helping someone, one of your clients, if you were doing a coaching session and you were just sharing with them what they needed to know in order to change their life, would you be nervous? Probably not. The reason that we get so nervous when we go on camera is we're so worried about what everybody else is going to think of us. How are we doing? So how am I doing? Am I speaking okay? Do I look okay? It's all about me, which is all ego driven. But if you flip it around and you think about the person on the other side of the camera, or that one person in the audience that needs to hear from you and you're going to change their life, or that one person that's reading that article or watching that show or watching your live stream and you're talking to that one person, suddenly it's not about you. It's not about you. It's about them. And if you can think of just helping one person every day, we say HOPE, help one person every day with what you know, and you just talk to that one person, focus on that one human being, the nerves go away. Because if you and I were just having a conversation over coffee and we weren't doing a podcast, we weren't filming anything for anybody, I wouldn't be nervous. I'd be like, but because the camera's on, I'm worried about me, what I look like, what I sound like. Forget it. I'm just trying to help you right now. And that takes away all my nerves.
So a lot of the time today, people are making the wrong decision. Now, we know that video is probably the number one source of the way we consume any kind of media, any kind of attention. TikTok is only video. So for those people out there to go, oh, I don't look good on it, therefore I'm not going to do it. How dangerous is that to their brand by avoiding video?
Mm. Okay. So if you're great at audio and you love audio and you want to make that your main thing, like your podcast, there are plenty of people that become successful in just audio or in just written word. But eventually, where we're going, you are 100% right. If you want to build a successful personal brand and you really want to have that connection with your audience, you are going to just have to be on camera. And it's going to be uncomfortable, but here's the thing. If you want to be successful, the number one tip to being successful is to get comfortable doing uncomfortable shit and just practice feeling discomfort. You're not going to die. If we just always are in the comfort zone and feeling comfortable all the time, we're never going to grow. You have to feel that fear. And the first time that I ever went live on social media, Steve, I actually have this video, this montage video that I show people at our event that shows my first Facebook Live to my last. It took me 30 minutes to press go live because I was so nervous about the way I looked, about the way I sounded. I was petrified and it was so bad. It was horrible, like shit show, so bad. I was so scared. You could tell it was horrible, but I did it. And here's how confidence is created. When you do the hard thing, when you make a commitment to yourself and you do it, even though it's hard and it's scary and it sucks and it's painful and maybe it's the worst thing you've ever done, when you get to the other side, and you realize, wow, I just did that thing. And it maybe it was bad, but it wasn't that bad. It gives you that little hit of dopamine to be able to do it again. And this is where you get better because then you do it again and you're a little less scared than you were the first time. Okay. And it's a little better than it was the first time. Maybe not a lot, but maybe a little. And then you do it, then you get a win and somebody reaches out to you and they're like, I love that live or I love that TikTok. Can I talk to you about working with you? And then you're like, whoa, this works. And then you get a little bit more confident. Then you go and you do it again. And then it's even better than the first and the second time. And it's even easier. So it's doing it consistently, even though it sucks, again and again and again. And pretty soon you're not going to care what you look like on camera. And for people who are really obsessed with what they look like on camera, TikTok's amazing, Facebook's amazing, Instagram's amazing. They have specifically made filters that you can put on your face to make yourself look better, to incentivize us to go on camera. Now, do I want to tell everybody that you need to filter your face? No, you're perfect just the way that you are. In fact, the videos that I do that are not filtered, where I look like crap, do a lot better than the videos that I filter. Just saying. Because people like authentic, they like real. But if you are having an issue and the only way you're going to go on camera is if you filter your video, filter your video.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've always said to everyone, the first time you do anything, it'll be shit.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the first podcast you ever do, the first video you ever do, the first dance, the first meal, anything you do for the first time, it'll always be shit compared to what it is 6 months down the line when you continue going. Now, your partner, Chris, you actually work and operate a media agency on how to get media, how to get attention. You even do workshops. Tell us about the workshops that you do.
Yeah. So we actually have an event coming up next week at the same time as your event, which is why I can't be at your event. But we have 3 parts of our company. We have an actual agency where we represent really high-level entrepreneurs, big companies, and we do their PR for them. So we get them in the publications, the podcasts, the television, all the things. Then we have these events called Unfair Advantage Live that we do in New York City. And they're 3-day events where throughout the 3 days, we teach entrepreneurs and business owners how to create their pitch, how to write their messaging, how to talk about themselves, how to connect with the media, how to connect with each other, how to be more confident. But then the really cool thing about this event that's very special that no other event does is on day 2, we have a media mixer. And what that is a big party at the rooftop of the Dream Hotel at PhD. Right now, we have confirmed over 165 media people. So that means top producers, top journalists from all the shows, Good Morning America, Today's Show, Kelly Clarkson, all of them, and all of the publications, all of the big time editors, big podcast hosts. We bring them all to a party to mix and mingle with our attendees from our event. So our attendees can make those relationships because at the end of the day, the way to get into the media is creating powerful connections and relationships with the media. So we help them do that at this event. And then on the third day, we teach them how to take those relationships that they made and leverage them and amplify them and really garner them to become long-term win-win relationships so they can consistently be featured in the media.
Now, you mentioned media. We've talked about video and we've talked about what you look like. Video's not the only media out there. So are the magazines and print media dead?
No. In fact, they're better than ever. So if you haven't noticed on Instagram, people go crazy posting when they were in Forbes, they were in Entrepreneur, and they were in Inc. And these are all credibility markers. And what's very important to remember is 20% of the value of the media hit, whether it's a television show, a podcast, a publication, is the hit. 80% of the value is how you take that article, television segment, podcast, radio segment, and amplify it and use it to create more credibility for your brand. So for you to be, for people to say like Steve Sims, he was featured in Forbes, in Entrepreneur, in Inc., in Money, in whatever, like those are your credibility markers. Those tell people that you have authority in the space. Because if Forbes trusts you enough to put you in their magazine, then the person that's thinking about hiring you to teach them or coach them or do a service for them, they're going to trust you that much more. So you definitely want to be featured in the publications, 1,000%. You want to be everywhere. My goal right now for my clients, for anyone I teach, for me, now more than ever, you want to be omnipresent. You want someone to, everywhere they look, there she is. Everywhere you look. Oh, there's Steve on that stage. He's on that stage. Steve is on every goddamn stage. Everywhere I look, I see Steve again. There's another photo of Steve on a stage. That's what I see when I see you. And I'm like, wow, Steve is a speaker. You have that credibility, not because I've really seen you on any stages. I've seen you on one, but because I'm seeing all you everywhere on social media, everywhere I look is a thing. I'm like, Steve's like the greatest speaker out there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks a lot for that pitch. Although we know it's not true, but thank you. So I like the word. I like the way you look at the omnipresence. A lot of people think these Ivy League publications, Forbes, Entrepreneur, they believe that's hard to get into. You actually have systems that teach people how to get into these media. Would you care to share some of that?
Yeah, 1,000%. It's not that hard. It's actually just as easy as anything else that you do in business, but it's not what you think. So there may be there's probably people listening to this podcast right now that are like, oh, I got a DM in my inbox saying that if I paid this much money, I would get featured in this article or whatever. Yeah, very common. Steer clear of those. And this is coming from a woman who owns a PR agency, and we do not do any pay for play placements. We do not pay for placements. The reason that we don't do that, you can do that, but it can devalue your brand, because at the bottom of that placement, it's going to say this article was paid for by whoever, right? So it's basically just like running paid ads, which is fine if that's what you want. But the whole point of gaining credibility from earned media is that you earned the media. So one of my best strategies and tools to getting media placements, getting in the publications, is simply starting to create relationships with these writers, with the journalists, with the editors. So what I would do if I were you, if I were listening, quick tip, think about somebody that is maybe one of your competitors, quote unquote. I don't even like using that word. Colleagues, somebody that does something similar to you or talks about something similar to you that's getting a lot of media. Maybe someone you're scrolling on social and you're like, how's this person getting in all these publications? I wish that was me. You feel like that FOMO. Take that person, put their name into Google News, look up all the different articles that they've been featured in, all of the different places that they've been, and look at the people that are writing about them. Who are those people? What are their names? Connect with those people and start creating relationships with those people. Don't cold pitch them. Don't be crazy and just pitch them your ideas. They're humans. They're people just like us. Everybody poops. Everyone's a human being. Make a connection and a relationship with that person. Figure out how you can provide value to that person. Don't go for the quick hit. Create the value, because if you can create a win-win relationship with a major journalist over at Forbes or which I have created these relationships over time, they'll feature you again and again and again and again. You don't want just one hit. You want a real relationship. So if I were you, I would start creating relationships with people in the media. Unfair Advantage Live, the reason that the whole event is about creating relationships is we want our attendees and the entrepreneurs that come to our events to be able to be the person that the media calls when they need an expert, not just the person that's always pitching, right? Like they call you because you guys have a relationship. So create authentic relationships with people. Don't pitch the media. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love the fact that and I've followed that. I followed that exactly same mentality of looking up the publications, and it will show you. And if it's an online article, not only will you be able to see who wrote the article, 9 times out of 10, it'll even have their email underneath it,
yes,
or on the master. So this is not hard to find out who's writing this stuff. But where people get stupid, and you're so right, is they go, oh, I saw this article. This is me. This is my opinion. Write about me. And they go in with a hard pitch. And if there's no relationship, these people are getting what? Thousands of those a day? So, and the other thing I like what you say is, unlike stages, because usually if you speak, if you headline a stage, you're never going to headline that stage again, because every year they want a different headline speaker. So as I always say that, once you've headlined a stage, you're then unemployed from that stage. That's not the same with editorial. They can come back to you and, oh, we've got this. Oh, we need this to work. Can you get something on this? Do you have a viewpoint on this? Something could just happen in the space, and they could go, can you give us a quote? And you just give them a quote. I've had people before send me like 5 quotes and go, which one would you like? Number 2. Great. Steve Sims said, and that they've written the quote for me. So when you work up that relationship, it is ongoing. And of course, once you've got that momentum and you're in Forbes and you're in Entrepreneur, then the other magazines and the other publications look at you and go, I take you must have read Trust Me, I'm Lying.
Trust Me, I'm Lying?
You must have read that book. Yeah.
No, but I'm going to go read it now.
You haven't read it?
No.
I'm absolutely floored by that. So Ryan Holiday wrote a absolutely phenomenal book called Trust Me, I'm Lying, which really goes into this. And it's laid out basically what you said. And then once you're in Forbes and you go to Inc., because Forbes has already written, you're up the credibility ladder already.
Yeah.
So you should definitely read that book. Good shout out to Ryan over in Austin. Great lad, but you should definitely have a look at that book. Now, your actual program with Chris, how many people, and you spoke about imposter syndrome before, and I love the way that you've said you're nervous. And I've been at events and I've seen you speak. That's why I vouched for you earlier. But I've seen how you get in your zone. And I've seen how just before you're getting on stage, everyone naturally thinks a speaker or anyone in the media is a wild, coke-headed extrovert. And they're just like mad. And when you look around at the amount of people that speak, I'm an introvert. I've seen you just on the edge of the stage, almost like in like a quiet space of just like, hang on. And you're in your zone. You're just trying to get prepared. You do have to, and the key word is perform. Mm-hmm. But it's amazing how many people that the pair of us know, phenomenal speakers that are introverts.
Yeah.
Now, do you think introverts have an advantage about being on stage or a disadvantage?
I am an introvert. Now, people would never think that I am, because I can go to a party and I can work the room and I can go on a podcast and I can speak on a stage and I can teach in front of people. And what I define as introverted is that I get my energy from being alone and being quiet. And then I can use that energy to expel out to people in such a big way that once I'm done, I'm pooped and I can't talk to any more people and I'm done. And I got to go back into my hole, into my hotel room and feed myself the energy again to be able to go out and do it again. It's just harder for me. Extroverts get their energy from being around people. And then when they're alone, it depletes them and they need to go get back around people to get their energy back. I don't think that I think that there are great things about both. Sometimes I wish I was extroverted. Sometimes I'm like, no, I'm perfect just the way that I am. And I love the way that I am. And I just work my life to work in that way. And you're right. Before I go on stage, I have to be quiet because I have to get my energy so then I can give it back. I don't think that there's like a right or a wrong way to be. I think you embrace the thing is, the key is to know what you are. Know how you get your energy, know when you're in your pocket, and know how you get into your pocket. If you know that you are so extroverted and you need to be around a lot of people and talk to a lot of people and be buzzing all about to get your energy, be strategic and do it that way before you speak or before you do something. But if you know that your energy comes from within and you need to be quiet and you need to get focused and you need to really visualize and think, that's what I need to do. I just need to get in my zone. I need to pray. I need to get like up with God and say, speak to me and through me. And I just need to let go and do the things that I need to do. And I've been that way performing on Broadway and on television my entire life. It's always been, with me. If you know that that's you, no matter what, non-negotiable, you carve out that time for you. And you probably saw me at War Room. People were trying to talk to me before I went on stage, and I was very like, in my zone, not putting out too much energy talking to those people, because I knew that in order to give my best performance, I know myself, I need to be quiet. It's all about knowing how to work your anatomy. Everybody's different and everybody's amazing. You just got to know how to work it. And once you figured out how to work your anatomy, you'll be able to perform again and again and again and again and again, knowing that you'll do great every time, because you have that pre-show ritual that you always do, non-negotiable. You have that post-show ritual that you do to recover, non-negotiable, and then you can just recreate it.
I love that. So, okay, so you Broadway, TV, media, but an introvert, and working what works for you. You've now decided over the past couple of years, as busy as and as successful as you are, that you want to get on more stages. And so you started doing that. You started doing more stage work. Why are stages so important to you?
Because it's what I love to do more than anything in the whole world. When I was, 7, 6, I've been performing since I was a little girl. And I remember I had this moment, this is like a vivid memory in my mind that will never go away. I was on stage because I was performing a lot when I was little in children's theater, professional theater. And I remember being on stage and we were singing a song from Annie, The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow. And I'm standing there and I'm looking out at the audience. And I remember having this moment. And I said to myself at like 6 or 7 years old, don't remember how old I was. I was like, this is the greatest thing in the world. And I want to do this for the rest of my life. And I spent my life chasing that dream. But I always thought, Steve, that it was going to be getting paid to speak someone else's words, to read someone's lines, and to dance someone else's moves, and to sing someone's songs and be a character, and like wait for someone else to choose me to be good enough to be on their stage. And it wasn't working for me. Like I did it, but it wasn't working, and it was taking the joy out of it. And when I quit my acting career, when everything stopped, and I said to my parents, I'm just going to stop auditioning. I can't do this anymore. They're like, are you sure? This is who you are. And I said to them, this is who I am. And one day I will get back on stage. I don't know how. It's not going to be the traditional way. It'll be a different way. I have no idea how it's going to happen, but I know that I'm meant to be on stage. And I didn't know how, but I stopped and I just followed my bliss in a different direction. And I started helping people and I started building businesses. And look, now I'm back on stage exactly where I belong. And it is just the joy of my life.
And that's beautiful, because with your energy that you come out and you're on stage, you're performing the word, the advice, the education, and benefiting the audience. And that's obviously why they're getting you back on stages. Where can people find more about you and contact you, whether it be for your trainings or to get you on that stage?
They can write on Instagram. Super easy. I'm not going to make it difficult or crazy or weird. At Jen_Gottlieb. You can DM me there. Follow me on Instagram. I'm in the DMs. It's me. That's where you can find me.
And that's the easiest way to find you. Yeah. And they can reach out to you about your training courses to help, because you've helped thousands of people with getting good, solid media and getting the education that they can come to you, learn this, and then go out and actually do it for themselves.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, good. So that's going to be on there. Jen, you've been a bundle of energy. I thank you very much for being you. Thank you very much for revealing and being authentically you and just helping other people wise up to the fact that they can and need to be doing this. And if they don't know how to do it, hey, you can educate them.
1,000%. I love this conversation. Anything you do, Steve, I'm all on board. I love you. And I'm so grateful that we're friends. And I'll be back anytime. And I got your back always.
Always. Jen, thanks a lot. Say hi to Chris for me and look after yourself. Bye for now.
Bye.